Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a high-stakes intelligence briefing that's basically going to shatter everything you thought you knew about your daily commute. We are unpacking the open-source Traffic Safety Intelligence Report for 2025 to 2026. And honestly, it completely transforms our everyday road frustrations from just random chaos into a fascinating, highly predictable science.
So let's just get right into it. What's actually causing all these crashes? Because, conventional wisdom almost always points the finger at excessive speed. We all kind of assume that if everyone just slowed down, our commutes would turn into some peaceful utopia, right? Well, actually, a massive new surveillance and behavioral observation operation proves that's pretty much a myth. Speed is rarely the lone culprit here.
And this brings us to the absolutely fascinating core finding of the report. The vast majority of conflicts out there, they stem from predictable human decisions, not just a heavy foot on the gas pedal. It's really all about how we choose to interact with each other in these super constrained spaces. It's our impatience, the assumptions we make, and how numb we've gotten to congestion that are actively creating the danger.
To actually prove this, researchers didn't just sit around looking at police crash reports after the fact. Over a 7-month tracking window, they gathered more than 160 unique points of near-miss intelligence. Think about that. By tracking the exact moments where collisions almost happened, they figured out how to predict the danger before metal ever actually hits metal.
Now, this wasn't just your standard DMV traffic diary. It started out as a basic log, sure, but it quickly evolved into a sophisticated surveillance operation. It literally created a scientific framework to decode the sheer chaos of urban traffic over a long period of time.
Section 1. The culprits. Decoding the behavioral taxonomy.
Let's look at this critical threat right here, code B01, or unsafe overtaking. This one is driven purely by a driver's impatience. It's that terrifying moment when someone pulls out and just assumes total strangers will slam on their brakes to make room for them. They're basically playing roulette with everyone's bumpers, hoping for the best.
Then we have the highly dangerous code B02, left side overtaking. This is usually driven by acute time-saving pressure. You see this a lot when drivers, especially two-wheelers, exploit these incredibly narrow service road gaps. They filter super tightly between slow-moving vehicles and concrete barriers, just gambling that no one's going to open a door or take a sudden turn.
And then there's code B08, the passenger hunting maneuver. This perfectly illustrates how just the simple operational goal of picking up a fare can absolutely destroy any predictability on the road. When a taxi or an auto rickshaw suddenly sweeps across lanes to grab a passenger, it triggers this massive, highly volatile chain reaction of sudden braking for everyone stuck behind them.
Section 2. The danger zone, spatial and temporal traps.
Okay, so the intelligence data conclusively points to this specific 2-hour window, 1500 to 1700, so 3 p.m. to 5 p.m., as the absolute peak critical risk window for your commute. If you are on the road during these 2 hours, you are literally in the highest danger zone of the day.
But why this exact time? Well, this intense danger spike isn't about high-speed driving at all. It's driven by immense behavioral stress. It happens because schools are letting out, corporate offices are shifting shifts, and commercial delivery trucks are all flooding the network at the exact same time. The sheer complexity of road users just peaks, and everyone's patience drops right to zero.
When we look at exactly where this happens, the data is pretty staggering. An overwhelming 80% of these near misses cluster around transition zones. We're talking highway merges, narrow bridges, intersections. Only 20% actually happen on straight, uninterrupted, open roads.
What this tells us is that infrastructure acts as a massive risk multiplier. Poor engineering at specific corridors, like the NH66 trunk or the N-Chuckle intersection, systematically amplifies our human behavioral errors. When you combine a super impatient driver with a badly designed merge lane, the risk score just skyrockets straight into the critical zone.
To really bring this to life, picture this documented incident of what they call tactical lane weaving. It perfectly captures the frantic chain reaction that happens when impatience meets a crowded transition zone. A bus slows down for a passenger, right? Then a trailing car swerves blindly to avoid stopping, and suddenly a motorcycle is forced entirely off the road. It's just a total cascade of predictability failures.
Section 3. The formula and the resolution.
So the researchers actually developed a formula for this, the TCPI, or Traffic Conflict Probability Index. It turns the terrifying randomness of near misses into preventable, predictable mathematical probabilities.
By combining how often bad behaviors happen, how severe they are, traffic complexity, and the actual infrastructure design, they can literally map out where a crash is most likely to happen way before it actually does.
But here is honestly the best news in the entire report. The tracking observer actually survived 7 whole months in these extreme hotspots without a single scratch. This definitively proves that proactive defensive adaptations completely neutralize these high-risk scores. You're not just at the mercy of the traffic out there.
They use these exact systematic steps to navigate the absolute worst bottlenecks. And the most fascinating one to me, step 3. Resisting social pressure. Let's be real, it is incredibly hard to ignore the aggressive honking of an impatient car right on your bumper. But by tuning that out, they maintain their operational discipline and refuse to be bullied into a dangerous maneuver. Ultimately, this teaches us that surviving the daily commute isn't about having lightning-fast reflexes like some race car driver. It's about treating near misses as leading indicators of risk. It's about voluntarily yielding to those aggressive drivers and reading the subtle drift of the cars ahead of you so you can preserve your own escape space.
So I'll leave you with this thought for the next time you're stuck in that awful afternoon rush. Are you going to continue to blindly react to the chaos, just relying on the reflexes of strangers? Or are you going to use this intelligence to predict the danger, preserve your space, and finally take back control of your drive?